Welcome everyone to the Rental Boyz podcast. I'm your host Xavier Kelly. I'm sitting here with my co-host
Eddie Sauceda.
And today we got a good one for you today. Today we're going to be talking about productivity scores. We kind of call it efficiency scores, but we thought productivity scores would be the best. And basically going to talk about how to quantify what you get back from your customer, from your employees, to determine your actual cost of your service that you're providing, and then what they earn to you. So, but before we jump into that, Eddie's going to hit the ultimate checklist.
All right, guys. If you haven't gotten this ultimate checklist, please do so. It is absolutely free. It costs you no money, but it will cost you to click, download, look into getting it. A lot of free information. It will help you out, even if you've been in the game for a while. It might give you some new insight, new ideas into the way you're running your business. So check it out. You have really nothing to lose but all to gain. Ultimate checklist. And if you don't see it, you can just message us, and we'll be glad to stroll you along where to get it.
Yeah, and this also helps you get you on our mailing list. So we got new things coming up. We're about to start writing an email letter eventually, and also for the new version of this that comes out pretty shortly. So stay tuned for that. All right. So on this one right here, I'm gonna start off from where we were when we first introduced the model, and then you take it to where we are now in the model.
Okay.
On there. Okay. So I think it was last year. Was it around this time? Kind of, sort of, yeah. Yeah, or before or after. I think last year, we didn't have the best drivers in our situation. The situation wasn't the best either.
Yeah.
For the drivers either, but we really didn't have the best drivers. Probably, I would say, the lowest point of our team I felt since we've had it was at this point last year, really kind of like the March time. March, February, on there. We had a lot of stuff restarting. Our sales managers ended up resigning for some other issues that we can't talk about on the podcast. Maybe in person we can, but not on the podcast. Ended up resigning, and then we ended up just getting to really, I think this is in March. It was like the third month that we had our back office team here. And working and stuff like that. So we just kind of getting our footing down with our employees and stuff like that. So we decided to switch over to the contractor, to a 1099 model, which we're going to discuss maybe in another podcast, 1099 versus employees. But the basic thing depends on what you're trying to do, and what you're trying to get depends on what you will get out of it, if it's worth it or not for you. For us, in some aspects it is worth it, but in some aspects it's not on there. Because I think we both can say, like, we get stuff done faster, but there's not like the touch that you need for people's events and stuff like that. Because this is like people's like most important days, and we don't see really that type of stuff on a lot of the 1099 workers. And it just could be just who we're hiring, and we've done a lot of hiring over the last year to really get even the team we have now. And we could just be doing something wrong. But from our experiences, you get less team members and stuff associated with the 1099s. Based on what we saw. But you get really good work. But you do get the work is done faster. No one's trying to cheat you out of money or stuff like that. Eventually, if you spend enough time and effort in the people, you do get better people who actually kind of see the vision a little more on stuff, because they've already in that. If they come truly into it, they're in the kind of the entrepreneur mind space on stuff. But when we first started off, no one was like that. Everyone was just give me the money, whatever I can get, hog the time, all the stuff right here.
Yeah.
So we started with that one. We were doing hourly on that.
Yeah.
And then we went over, because we were tracking the efficiency scores across everybody around this time, because we were coming to the point where we're trying to figure out this is when we start getting more, start figuring out exactly what we were doing, how much it's costing us, and how we need to improve. So at the time, we kept getting drivers who were like at 50%, 44%, sometimes 35%, sometimes 78%, sometimes 100%, or 120%. And like we got these costs. The costs are based off of the earned revenue. So the delivery. So basically, we want to pay the drivers using the delivery fees and only the delivery fees. So our delivery fees. So say the delivery fee is that the person earned was $100. If they had a 55%, then they cost us $55 to hire them, and we only had 45% or $45 left over to pay gas, any part of the insurance for that one order or whatever, maintenance. The rest of the team that does it, dispatch, the manager, all that stuff. So we was tracking this for a couple months, and this is and we seen, okay, well, it'd be nice to have people at 40%. This would be the perfect rate on there. And then that's like 40% across, like, because technically they'll get 40% of the late night pickups, the same day stuff, like all the extra fees that you might get on the deliveries based on just having very specific times. You get stuff on the setup costs and everything like that. Which we come up with a new model to reflect that better, because technically it throws stuff one way a lot on there. But we're gonna work on that part on there. So that's kind of the basis we're coming up from it. We're just trying to figure out how can we stop having where one day a person is 100%, which is terrible, and one day someone's 26%.
Which is awesome.
Which is awesome. And then trying to figure out how do we balance this and align people to work with us on there. And that was kind of the general understanding. We called that the driver's efficiency score. It was just a simple score to determine how efficient the driver is based on the amount of money that we're spending on them versus the money that we earn from their actual task, which the money we actually earn is only the delivery fee, not the actual rental item fees. And then we have a cost to break down into like tents and stuff that costs labor, and then pulling that labor cost off and adding it to their actual amount. And we already did this beforehand, so we had an actual specific number, which worked for us now. So long-winded and everything, but that's the general part of what we worked on from there. Now we've been taking it to a whole new level. We have a board that Eddie put up at the office, that our manager. And if you guys didn't know, we don't run day-to-day operations, me and Eddie. We are part of a lot of day-to-day operations because we're trying to fine-tune things and move stuff. But the whole reason why we built this specifically is so that we can able to do stuff like this. We can go spend time with our family and really focus on building the business and not working in the business. This is not something that we tried to do earlier, did not work. But I think once you get to a certain stage, you're able to do this. And this helps us see problems a lot better because we're not in the middle of it. Yeah. And we can control the quality of everything going across. Now, sometimes we will step in on certain things to help out or to give direction or guidance or to make decisions to course correct back to the goal we're trying to get to on there. But these systems are systems that me and Eddie have created so that we can be able to determine if someone is doing their job and how valuable they are. So yeah, so that's the basic point. Eddie's gonna, we can ramble back and forth through the part where we're at now, yeah, and how we do it and the reasons behind it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the the warehouse side of our efficiency score is still in the makings. One thing that what we have right now is basically what I did is I got a regular shift and I put a dollar amount to it. And right now, like Xavier was saying, we have a board. The warehouse team has a meeting every day, and they go over things that are coming up, like new equipment that we got. Like I know we got like a popcorn machine now, so they'll do a little meeting and say, hey, this is the new equipment that we have. Educate everybody real quick that everybody understands. They go over the scores that are on the board. One thing that we've seen what this does, because like everybody naturally has like a competitive drive kind of embedded in them. So when we put these scores up, you can see people that are leaders and then generally the people that are towards the bottom. And generally the leaders want to continue to be leaders, and they'll continue to improve on themselves, and they'll break records and make higher numbers. And then generally the ones towards the bottom will pick it up, or they'll just stay around the same. And one thing that we found out is if they stay the same, then that's just basically the type of person that you're getting. You can easily identify people that are productive for your company. because these numbers will show you, like, do you have a good employee? I mean, it doesn't tell you if it's a good person, because like there's some people that, I mean, me and Xavier can agree. Like I enjoy being around the person. You know, they're funny, they have a smile on their face, but just like it just the only thing is like when it comes to their scores. And that's one thing that's good about me and Xavier. So when we get these scores and we can look at them, we don't look at the backstory on everybody. We'll just see this number, and then we'll say, oh, well, this is their efficiency. And it tells you there's no lying in the numbers. It's pretty much straightforward, and it tells you what type of person that you have on your team. But you know, one thing that we've always pushed for is that we have to have a certain standard, and that's why we made these scores, so that way we can track and see what the standard is, and we can keep it at a high standard. Because if we have a high output, then you know we can do more things. It'll be more profitable. It allows us to grow the company at a faster pace. Just a lot of little cool things, but yeah, with the score, that, you know, another thing that we've used in doing this is one thing that, like, I've been kind of grabbing. There's a lot of psychological on these things. You know, a lot of people are, like I said, I always say, I think in the previous podcast, you'll hear me say people are visual creatures. Well, that board was specifically put in a way when the employee comes in, they have to pass that board. And there's a security camera right there by that. And a lot of times we'll go to check, like 90% of the time, people turn their neck to look at that board as they're passing by. So that tells me that it's working, that this culture of that number is working, and it's embedded in our team's mind that, hey, these are the numbers that we want, and anything above this, then you're awesome. And those are the people that we want, and we can see the people that are truly striving and the ones that are just floating by.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, it's just like, you know, I'm really big into history and stuff like that. History. Yeah. So like I'm big into like wars and strategy and all this stuff. But I know one thing. I think we're gonna come up with a new thing. It's called like the 300 and the 400 club.
Yeah.
And when we reward the people so those are high score numbers in our current system, which is going to be revamped because there is a lot of flaws in our current system. But just to get the ball rolling, it's been working out very well, because, you know, I have people that come up to me when I do go to the warehouse, and they're like, hey, you see my score? And I'm like, hey man, I'm real proud of you. That's what you want, and I think it's created a culture that we've been dying for, and the education of getting it to this way is finally starting to pay off. And just I could see the enjoyment when people succeed, that they're happy to be there. So this thing has done a lot for our company. Just the fact that, you know, you can have a number to the type of work, because a lot of people otherwise would not get recognized. You know, they would work hard, but no, you just say, well, everybody's here and they're doing their job. But this tells you, yeah, they're here, which it takes in effect their attendance, dress code. Then after that, it goes into the actual productivity of the day. So it does a lot of things. It just puts a spotlight on everybody, and then the people that are generally, you know, otherwise never recognized, now they're the heroes, and they can get the reward that they deserve for being very good at what they do.
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more on specifically like how we come up with the scores? Like how do we come up with the dollar amounts? Just what are we doing now? I know it's not perfect.
Okay, it's not perfect, like I said. So generally, I think everything in the warehouse has a dollar amount. Like, for instance, if you have like even like this table that we're on right now, it's a 6-foot table. We rent it out for I'm not sure what the cost. We'll just say $10. Okay, so $10. That's how much we rent it out for. Out of this cost, we're going to pay somebody to clean it, move it, you know, all that good stuff. So I need to take in consideration like what the value is in this table to be clean and ready to go. And so what I just did, just a general, you know, just what it is, I've taken, I believe it's 20%. I think it's 20%, 20 or 10%. I need to look at the numbers, but 20 or 10%. And that's the cost. Every time this table's clean, it's valued at that they get 20% of that total dollar amount. So if it's 10, let's see, that's at 20%. That's 246. So that's what's that? $20? I mean, not $20, $2.
$2.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like,
I had
God
zero.
dang,
It
it's a
increased in
multiplier.
value.
It's a
Yes,
multiplier,
No,
man.
it's $2. So basically, so they do one table, they clean it, and they tally up as a $2 value. So and everything that they do has a value. And then we have a task list that we give them every day. There's 4 tasks that are on there that we specifically, strategically put in there that brings value besides the cleaning part. Like, for instance, if there's certain tasks that we know that need to be done, we'll just say, for instance, sweep the warehouse, okay? We'll put like a 25 point or $25 value on that. So off the sheet itself, they can get 100 right off the bat on that. There's other things that we were bringing into it, but I'll go ahead and let y'all know. But one thing that I know for sure, that just by watching and seeing everybody moving, is like the warehouse, like we mentioned in the previous video from this, it's a big warehouse now, right? So how can you get everybody to feel responsible for certain things? Because, like, for instance, I'm pretty sure we'll have videos of the warehouse, but we take pictures, and we're really big into pictures, information. So all around the warehouse, you'll see little things, little pictures, lines on the floor and stuff like that. So how could you, one thing that I asked myself is, how can I get people to feel responsible for the warehouse? Because it's a big warehouse, like I said. For instance, if the parking lot in the, where everybody parks their vehicle, it has trash in there, actually, I know that people are just going to walk right past it because they don't feel responsible for that. So how can I get like every section of the warehouse accountable for? And that's why I came up with the thing where a color scheme where we're out throughout the warehouse. Certain areas going to have certain colors, and we're going to have certain people that will say, hey, whoever is yellow, we'll just pick 2 people. You're responsible for this area. And if it's not up to par, then you're going to get negative X amount of points. That's a new thing that I'm going to roll out. And then if it is up to par, you're going to get a positive 50, okay? And then, so basically, if you do your job, then it's gonna benefit you. But if you don't, it's gonna hurt you. And then that's when I can look at the scoring and say, is this person doing good or this isn't doing bad? You can see the ones that are actually trying and the ones that just don't really care. Yeah. If you see consistent low numbers, then you know that's just the type of person. So I've kind of grabbed that system off of another thing that I told Kobe, which is our manager, and Xavier. One thing that we need to use to our advantage that nobody really thinks about is every single one of these, well, for the most part, most of the people have gone to school, right?
I think everybody.
Everybody has gone to school, elementary. So there's certain things that are already programmed in.
Hopefully went to more than elementary.
Yeah. So there's things that are programmed in us systematically that that we just don't think of, right? But how can we use that they've already taught all of us in our business, that just clicks? It's like a switch that we just turn on in their minds, and it just like they know. And that's the thing with colors. Even I know some people I think that's why some people like picture books, because it's just easier for
the picture books work. They work.
So
they self-explanatory.
So people like pictures.
Intuitive.
I mean, you see our warehouse, we have so many things on the board everywhere, here and there, and just like I think Xavier told me, he's like, we were in a U-Haul truck, and he's like, look, see, they have like a no smoking sign, make sure you fill up, and I have all this stuff everywhere, right? And I'm like, and that was at the time I was like, man, this is common sense. I don't even use that word anymore, because I realized that now it's not common. Like, if you try to think the way that you think, then it's not going to work out, because everybody that's listening to this or watching us has some sense of like knowledge that can propel you in your life, but unfortunately some other people, they might just not have that kind of gift, and they're going to need that little extra to help them out. It's where like pictures and colors and stuff like that comes in handy, because like I said, they've all been in elementary, middle school, and all that, so those things have been embedded in us whether we know it or not.
I think a big thing, like you say on that right there, is like a lot of the employees that I think we've hired, probably anybody's on here hire or will hire, do not have the incentive that you have to do the things that you do. And there's a reason why you're in your position. Like, if you listen to us right now, you're already ahead. Let's be completely honest. You've already have your head in the right mind space. You're thinking about how can I grow this business I'm in, or you think about getting into this business. You're already there. But some people do not have it, and you need to make it very clear for them to understand why they need to do the things they need to do, and or even for the most part what, because most times we don't tell them what we want to do. We just expect stuff. Because the one thing I would say that is bad about the common sense portion is that what is coming to me is not coming to him. What is coming to Eddie is not coming to this person. And there's a whole bunch of things out there because we have different experiences.
Yeah.
And so when we say the whole thing about common sense, it's just not coming, because realistically, you as a business owner are just probably have different things that you see and done a certain way than someone who's doing everything based off of just being from an employee eyes. And there's nothing wrong with any of those sides. It's just that we need to adjust to be able to work with those individuals. And the same thing for us on that part too, because like we can see, like, you don't put things down on top of something that can damage it, because you won't have some. They're seeing it, well, oh, maybe this is the easiest way to do it, or this locks in place, or what's the priorities are. And it's our job to set those priorities. And that's what we've been kind of do, is going through and reprioritizing things in people's heads to make them understand, and doing it through visual components. Eddie's been laminating like a madman in here. And the same thing with the customers too, just like over communicating across the board. Because one thing that we didn't talk about, I didn't think about this right here, because we have a couple of different systems. We have a system that's for the sales team. The sales teams, we do a weekly competition. It's the most sales, the biggest sales, like the most number of sales, the biggest volume of the most volume of sales, the total dollar amount, and then the largest sale. We do 3 competitions each week, and we do that, and then we do evaluations based off of that are based off of a cumulative score of who did better than the average on there. So to do better than average, we average everything together and we do 20%. And what we've seen is that some weeks, no one will be in the green, because if everybody's made 21 sales and the lowest person made 20 sales or 18 sales, there's not much on that. Then 20% above that is 4. It might not be there on that. And so we've seen that. And some weeks we see people do go above on there, but it's a good way to weigh people against each other, stay competitive, especially on the sales side. That's what we really talk about. We were going to do a lot more this year, and we put our money where our mouth is on there, so we can push that more. And we got some real killers out there, I'd say. Yeah. So we got some people who really. We got some lucky people too, but we ain't gonna talk about them. But it works though, because it all works out.
And that's what I like about this. Like, so
all 3 big ones.
I know you say it's luck, but I think that. Just like there's some people in this world that are artists, it just comes naturally to them. Versus me, I can't even draw a stick figure. So I think just some people just naturally, they don't know it, but they're just really good at selling. And you think their methods and everything is like, they don't really do nothing special, but they're doing something special, because there's no way they can get lucky that much. Like, I mean, the person he's talking about, it just like I don't know, they just fall in her lap, these huge sales, like $82,000 sales and like all this other stuff.
Great person though, very joyful, tries their hardest and stuff like that. I don't see them use the same tactics as other people, or even have the same grittiness, but like we have a thing for like $16,000 for 900 garden chairs, like $16,000, 16. We have a $80,000 100 tent event that they brought up. Like, it's like a whole bunch of things, and it's like all of them, literally almost every single big one. Even when our past customers come in, they always call and get her, and she's not even on the phones all the time. That's the thing. It's not even her main thing. Yeah. And then, like, we've been listening to the conversation. The only thing I can pick from the whole thing is that she's just so enthusiastic that just must rub off on people, like, that this is going to work out. And then I talked to Danica about it, and she was saying that, like, she's been working with everybody through the call reviews on just smiling more, because I'm pretty sure she's just smiling on the phone. First of all, she's you can't tell because she's on the phone and stuff like that, but you know her personality from the events like that. She's just nice and bubbly.
Oh yeah.
Very
and to be honest, it was like that day I saw everybody, and just, you're right. I think you get like a sense of, and I know it's not. They probably have something on this kind of studies, but I don't know if you can feel like the energy or the vibe through the phone. But like, and maybe you just get more relaxed and your guard's down and you're just ready to spend money. But yeah, from her, like a really good vibe, really good person, and I'm just so happy that she's on our team.
Yeah. And I know other people on the team are like straight up killers looking for stuff.
Like, I'm about to
like,
destroy it.
Like,
you buy now.
You buy. And it works. And they have really good customer bases that they bring to us, and it works out. Yeah. So, because like we started with the drivers, we brought it to sales teams after we did that, basically a score on there. And then the score on sales is more relative to each other than actually like the drivers want relative to what they earn. We still track that, but just their stuff ranges so much. Like you can be like they might be like 100 times, sometimes even more than what they get paid, more than they make. Usually between that 1% to 3% range, something like that. Maybe 5 on like the slow season. And then we started doing the warehouse, which I think that has been like life changing. Like if you are assigning people's work right now and you don't understand or know the value of that work, and then you're making decisions based off of there, and you're not have some type of documentation that's showing what they're doing, or how much it costs you. It's like to me now, I realize that like anything we done before this was like crazy and don't make any sense since doing this. And it's one of these experiences like you don't know until you go through it that you can see the numbers. Because like I remember when he kept showing me the numbers and they got it digitalized, usually just be on the board and it was like a whole bunch of folders. But Hans from the dispatch ended up putting it into a spreadsheet so I can see it now. So I go on there and I'm looking at the thing. My first thing I was like, because you kept saying like, we need to find a better way to clean the chairs, a better way. And then I seen the best day we had cleaning the chairs. And I was like, okay, that's good. Then I realized like, then he showed me this machine, which we're gonna get one. It's a chair washer. Where's it? I don't know where it's from.
It's chair washer. It's tables as well. Just one person runs it through, the other person grabs it and stacks it. Yeah, and it dries it too.
Yeah. So like he showed me that, and I seen what they said, 600 an hour, 600 chairs an hour, 2 people. And I realized our people are maybe getting through like 100 an hour individually. So 200, that's 3 times more. Maybe on a good day, and not consistently either. Yeah. And their extra stuff going on is a lot more tedious. Yeah. And then, so I was thinking about that, and realistically, you can be another one. One person can literally sit in the chair and unstack and just go. While the person just loads up, and then they can switch, and then it's way more easier on the body. So like that, nothing really Eddie would have told me besides he just wants to do this and we just gonna do it for whatever. And I was like, oh, I just agree with it. But nothing from a statistical standpoint he could have showed me or said anything that could have convinced me that we just had to do this until he showed me those numbers. Yeah. Because he showed me those numbers, and then everything was like, it makes no sense to be cleaning just chairs and tables manually. Yeah. At all. You lose so much money. It is not a human task that humans should be able to do. That should be doing, because it wastes a lot of time, a lot of money, and their efficiency just goes down. It plummets. And so now we're taking efforts to do that. Like, we're going to try this thing that we've seen a couple times a long time ago, and we just saw one recently. We bought the stuff for it. You'll see it on another video. Me and Eddie are going to build a chair washing thing. Yeah, a little prototype thing. We're going to see how the numbers, and I think we'll provide that information too. We're just going to see, like, so we already tracked for a couple weeks, like what people do manually, the old way, and then we're going to see how fast we can do it with this new way, and run with that. Yeah, we'll see what situations that work better on, and which one of the chairs are just the best for. I think we're going to try the plastic chairs first, or the metal plastic, put it on there, and then we'll go from there. But it seems like, based on what we've seen, the one person, he said it was in 200 every 45 minutes, which ended up being 268 chairs an hour, which is half of which is almost the same rate at the smaller chair cleaner, but half the rate of the bigger one, and on there. And so I was like, okay. And so we were thinking about that. Was okay. So that's interesting. So we were thinking about it, because we were looking, when we go to Austin, we want to find a better way. Technically, we might be able to pay for it, but it wouldn't make sense for us to buy the chair from a dollar perspective. From a work perspective, yes, but from an actual dollar perspective. And also, too, that means we have to buy a bigger warehouse that allows you to hook up water connections and be able to hook up to. Is a whole different thing. So we were looking for some type of solution to be able to do that, at least till we be able to get that thing going. Because, like, maybe for the first 2,000-3,000 chairs there, maybe the bucket just be fine.
Yeah.
On there, way better than the hand. The hand thing is no. Like once you get past like 500 chairs, you should not be doing that. You need to find another solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after that, then we can look into other solutions. Like here, we're gonna still get one here because worst to worst, we'll just use it, and then we'll have the bucket too. We'll just use more of it so we can get it all done in one day.
Yeah.
Like whatever we gotta do to get it done, so it's just over, and we can clear the wash pit out. But like even like that was like for me. It was a big understanding from the national numbers and seeing like I can't even fault them for it because the best day wasn't even that. I don't think it was even that good. It wasn't worth that much to us because based on numbers he said, it wasn't worth that much to them and it wasn't worth that much to us for them clean.
Yeah.
And so and then seeing that, and it had me thinking, and we were kind of we're in the same space on there because I was sitting there to him. He said I already saw it, and I was like I'm going to get it. He said perfect, and then said we'll work on it today, and then we got 2 of them. We'll do a video about creating it, and then after we create it, we'll do a video about. We'll just do like a full video where we do like a time lapse maybe of how many that they do, and we'll just do that for the whole thing, and then that'll just be the video we put out. And we'll do the numbers and we'll track it. And who knows if it's good enough? Maybe we'll offer it, and you guys can get some. So you don't have to do other building stuff we got to do. But if you want to build it, it'll be out there too.
Yeah.
On there. But yeah, so I think from the warehouse that's been really interesting. I think that's been where we've been lacking at because of having too many locations, and now it's better understand on that. So what I'm going to try to do, or it should be on here already, but we're going to try to put some of these photos up of the stuff. Maybe we'll create and maybe we'll put it in here like a simple sheet example of how to kind of get your employees' performances based off of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. We haven't found a specific way to do it for like dispatch yet. We're gonna have to think about that one. There's so many little tasks that it can do. Then sometimes, and dispatch is different because they usually once the stuff is over, they just leave. Mm-hmm. There's literally, they might do preparations or something like that, but then after that they leave. Nothing really else for them to do. So we have to think about that. But I don't know. It's been interesting. The productivity score, I think we should call it, or efficiency score, same thing for us on there. But I think you should. If you're out there, you should look at doing this. If I was in your shoes, I would do this because I wish we did this earlier. Yeah. We basically are a year out, maybe a half out, a year and like a quarter out from really getting into this part. And I love where we're going. And I just wish from the very beginning we could have started with that. It would have been game changing. Yeah. Because we would have instantly tried to go get. Because I think too, because Eddie's a big tool guy. If you guys don't know this, Eddie's a big tool guy. I don't know what I am, but Eddie probably wouldn't say I'm a tool guy.
I don't think so. But I'm trying to make you a believer, which is starting to work.
Yeah, because my thing is that, and I'm more what do you call it? I'm more jaded towards a lot of things, but I'm also more skeptical, because I believe when you buy the tools, people start using the easiest tool and not the best tool. So I'm already jaded on the situation, a lot of things. But going through this, and you can line up and make people use exactly what they're supposed to use, the thing changes. Because like another thing that we did, we saw that this is a whole different. Remember on the tent?
Yeah. What about it?
So like the drill and the brush works amazingly.
Oh, that?
Yeah, it works amazingly. But it's not a tool you should use on there. It would take forever to clean. The equipment would be cleaned amazingly. But it would take forever. The brush is only like this big. What is it, like 5 or 6 inches? And the tent has 400 square feet.
Yeah, it'd take forever. It wouldn't be good.
It wouldn't be good, and it probably won't work. That battery would probably die. All that it would just be terrible. So we're putting together, which we're gonna do a test on this too, which we'll show. We're gonna get a floor scrubber and put a cloth at the end of it. I think one we seen was 13 inches. Eventually, we'll get a bigger one, too, to show that. But we'll probably start with a 13-inch one. I just thought about that. We can go pick that up today.
Yeah.
It's like $150. The ladies already – I didn't even think about that. But, yeah, we can do that. So maybe we'll do a video on that one and just walk behind it. And we'll do how fast it takes to clean it. And we'll do maybe a comparison versus doing it the regular way, which for us, we're trying to keep it off the ground and stuff. But we'll go through that. But just finding these little things really for me came from looking at the data and what people were doing and then going off of that And really, like, it's been like eye-opening. Just look at this data and be able to decipher what we need to do next and how we are to improve and stuff on there. And also, too, eventually you can work the person's compensation. Once we get the systems down, like we did with the drivers, you can work the compensation off the person. So the person technically could make more per hour if they provide more value.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what we're going to lead to in the future.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to push to. But the main thing is, I think this is a very powerful tool to really push the culture that I think most people would want in their business. And, you know, everybody talks about, like, I want hardworking people and that'll take care, watch my back and stuff like that. These systems and these tools really do that. I'm reading this book called Principles.
Pull it up.
Let me pull it up because I don't want to give you the wrong information. It's really good because a lot of these things. Oh man, something went wrong. Okay, here it is. Principles by Ray Dalio. Yeah, it's really good. I highly suggest any entrepreneur to read that book or listen to the audiobook. It gives you a lot of insight on like how to make systems up and how to. I forgot the quote because I have it written down on the board in the manager's office. But I think it says something like this. So don't. If I got it wrong, don't be like, "Hey, Eddie, that was horrible. That was wrong." But it's close enough. But systems are tools to create desired behaviors. Something in that sense. I'm pretty close. If not, I hit it right on the head. But these are things that you're gonna need to build out as you grow. Because if not, realistically, you're not going to be able to get to the places like me and Xavier are right now. Like I said, we're here right now doing this podcast. I have zero worries about the operations going on right now because I already know like we've already got systems that are in place that it's going to run. Another thing, I know you and me talked a couple weeks ago and we were like, we took a 2-month vacation. I know if we come back, the business is going to be running just fine. There's nothing like it just does everything by itself. And if you desire those types of results, then I highly suggest you build some kind of system to kind of emulate that, so you can get those results.
Yeah. Well, guys, we appreciate you on this one right here. This is one of our longer ones. Can't tell that says 30 or 40 minutes or what that says. I know this thing. You recorded for 40 minutes.
Don't forget to get that ultimate checklist.
Yeah. And then like tons of stuff in here. Like, oh damn. So this is the newer one. I don't know if you can see it. This is the newer sections.
They can't see that.
Put your glasses on.
Zoom in.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. It's one of these things. Is only going to the faces. But this is what it is right here. Maybe we have Anthony put it up here. The blue of what we did, the black is what still needs to be done, or it has little sections or not enough of it.
Okay.
So there's a lot. So we're gonna try to do more of this. I'm sorry about the delay. This is more on me. Because I've been working on this right here, and this is something personally for my personal growth I've been working on, is that I've been trying to do what I'm supposed to do, not just what I feel like doing. And sometimes this for us, showing you guys, sometimes it seems like it's always something else that comes up in my head. But I realize if this is what me and Eddie are trying to leave behind for people to understand and build this so people can build these for life. And one thing I really liked, which I know you kind of like too, is that like one of our drivers listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
And it just is interesting because they might be part of some of the episodes, but it's interesting because they can see our thoughts. And also too, like someone else starting one of these doesn't hurt me and Eddie.
There's enough to go around for everybody.
Yeah, enough, and it's a lot of the market that is getting underserved or not served at all. And that's one thing that we've seen just coming into this. Some people just say, forget it, and just, I won't have any chairs or table myself. I just sit in the sun on the grass. Yeah. Or I had one friend who didn't use chair and table at a drive, and he just put tarps on and threw the clothes on the tarps on that part. and it's not because he couldn't pay for it. I ended up having a conversation with him. He just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
On there. So it's all that. So a lot of stuff's in here. We're trying to give the blueprints, trying to make the blueprint, and trying to really push this out. And also in the other ventures in the rental space and the event space. We're going to do some type of series once we hire someone on there about when we do the venue. Not venue, but the when we do our next venue, we're going to do a series on that of how we do the process. But when we do our next event, and probably when we do an event, we might do one here, and we're going to do like a big actual festival in the Dallas area. And who knows, maybe we'll be able to scale it out and kind of do the process underneath it. I don't know what that is, but yeah. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you get the ultimate checklist. Check out the links down in the description. We've seen you guys have already got insurance quotes, and make sure, like Eddie said on the last one, make sure you get those insurance quotes, and make sure you get insurance because it's really important. And it takes a lot of fear away from you and scare and so that. Just do it the right way. It doesn't cost that much. So make sure you check those out. Check other links down in the description, the banking, and we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, tell us anything you want to know. If you're in the deep end, tell us you're in the deep end. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Xavier Kelly.
I'm Eddie Sauceda.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you.